more. Have more milk, 'cause milk's got more.
Bob Kurtz, Janet Carpenter here at the Metrodome, St. Paul Central against Mounds View. I would think in St. Paul Central you may have one of the favorites in the tournament.
I think so. They've been here so many years. They're very experienced. Their coach, Dan Brink, has traditionally had very good teams, very fast team. I think they're going to be one of the quickest teams we're going to see in this tournament.
Okay, let's go across the way now and join longtime public address announcer Julie Perlt for the introduction of the teams and the starting lineups.
Smoking regulation. Smoking is not permitted in the arena. The scoreboards are on the facing of the upper deck. As is customary, we will introduce the entire squad of both teams.
They can't hear very well, I guess. Okay, for the visitors.
Starting with St. Paul Central, the non-starters, number 10, Charles Foreman. Number 12, Scott Fields. Number 14, Ken Barber. Number 20, Derek Rummels. 22, Eric Holdeman. 24, John Calhoun. 42, Robert Yarborough. 44, Ted Wicks. 52, Eric Smith. 54, John Carver. For Mounds View, non-starters, number 00, Dave Leeser. Number 4, Eric Molly. Number 11, Mike Dufault. 15, Tim Nusso. 23, Ray Kroll. 31, Jack Skelton. 33, Jack Swearingen. 35, Andy Schultz. 43, Tom Donaldson. 55, Kevin Bergstedt. The starters, starting with St. Paul Central at forward, number 34, Mike Brown. Starting at forward, number 41, for Mounds View, Steve Holter. At forward, number 40, Danny Dean. At forward, number 53, Steve McTavish. At center, number 32, Gary New. At center, number 51, Steve Schloutthauer. At guard, number 30, Mike Deering. At guard, number 25, Chad Runeberg. At guard, number 50, Troy Jackson. At guard, number 45, Matt Kelsenberg. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Mounds View Band, directed by Dave Magnuson, will lead us in the national anthem.
magnificent sight, the Metrodome, and there are the officials. Mike Spanier of St. Cloud and Al Kloppen, rather, of Burnsville. They will be the officials for the ball game here as we get underway. There's got to be a special feeling, Janet. You watch the ball clubs as they charge out into the floor, and you can see it in their eyes, the way they run along and do their high fives and all the rest of the stuff. They're trying to get rid of a lot of tension.
I saw a lot of that tension last night at the banquet. I spoke to the guys, and they're all excited about being here. I think they're all hoping to have a new season, a new 3-game season, and go undefeated in that new season.
And I would think this is your first trip into the Metrodome. The way this thing is set up with the sheer size of this building and the fact that the Vikings play here and the Twins play here, the Gopher football team plays here, it has sort of a different aura about it.
Oh, there's definitely a special feeling because it is so new, and this is the first time for high school basketball to be in the Dome. I think that's very exciting, and I'm glad I'm just going to be a part of it. This is my first time in the building at all for any reason, so I'm really impressed with how it's set up, and the fans are pretty close to the court, too.
Okay, we're underway with St. Paul Central controlling the tip. Mike Deering, number 30. As Mounds View sets up defensively, it goes into New, and he hits a quick jumper. And just like that, it's a 2-0 ball game for St. Paul. Runneberg now, 25 for Mounds View, the Mustangs. Decked out in their green. Holter. That's McTavish. And McTavish takes the jump shot. That does not go. Rebound finally cleared by Mike Brown of St. Paul Central. Players, of course, I'm sure also realized the NCAA was played here for huge crowds last week. Right along the baseline with a nifty move. It won't go for Dean. Rebounded by Mounds View, and here they come now with Runneberg. Chad Runneberg.
You can see Central picking up Mounds View in a man-to-man defense. Central plays man-to-man always. They live and die by it, and I think you'll see them in this consistently through the tournament.
Schloutthauer. Steve Schloutthauer, 6'6", who averages 22 points a game. His first shot won't go. He's one of the finalists for Mr. Basketball.
Schloutthauer will be a key on offense and defense. He cannot afford to get in foul trouble this game. When he has during the season, Mounds View has lost.
Roy Jackson gives Central a 4-0 lead. Schloutthauer knocks it loose. A foul is called. And that, I believe, will go on Gary New, his first and the first team foul on St. Paul Central. St. Paul Central lost only once this year. That was to Minneapolis North in the Twin Cities championship game. Mounds View comes in with a 20-3 record. Foul called underneath, and that will go on Dean, his first and a second team foul. See the bumping in there. Dean 40 picks up the foul, and Steve McTavish will go to the free throw line. McTavish, whose father is a professor at the University of Minnesota, has it bound around and fall out.
He's just a junior, and his coach says he's one of the team's gym rats.
Been around a while, huh?
He must be one of the kids that you find sneaking in the gym when he's not supposed to be there. A real troublemaker.
Well, he misses both of his free throws as Mounds View is coming up short here in the early going. And Troy Jackson now, number 50 for St. Paul Central.
It's a good feeling for these teams just to get up and down the court a few times and get a few shots. Both coaches were concerned they might not shoot as well to begin with, just simply because they haven't shot in a place like this with the big wide backgrounds in the back, and it takes a little time to get used to it.
Dean with the bucket and a 6-0 lead now for St. Paul Central. And just what you'd suspect, they would go to the big guy when they're in trouble. And Steve Schloutthauer drops it through for the first points of the ball game for Mounds View.
That was a nice, strong move by Schloutthauer. Physically inside, Central has 4 players that are going to be on football scholarships next year, and they're a very rugged team. And it will be interesting to see if Mounds View can match up and give it back.
Well, knocked loose by Runneberg. Runneberg goes in and draws the foul. Not a particularly good play that time on the part of Gary New. Picks up his second foul. First of all, he lost the ball. Didn't look like he hustled after it that quickly, which enabled Runneberg to take it away. And then New goes down the other end and picks up a foul. Runneberg
did a good job by taking the ball to the basket strong, going into New, picking up the foul. While some players will avoid contact, others will go to the contact in hopes of drawing a foul. That was a nice move to the basket.
So the lead is now 3 points. Mounds View within 2. Deering along now with Troy Jackson bringing the ball up. Jackson is 5'10". Offensive foul is called against Mike Brown, his first. This St. Paul Central team, I have not seen them this year, but they look like a very physical team. You can certainly see why there are 4 players out there, Janet, who are on football scholarships.
Well, Mike Brown was one of those, and also Troy Jackson will be on football scholarships. They're physical, they push a lot, and sometimes you don't always see it, but it really wears a team down, you know, especially in the posting up inside, as we see Schloutthauer trying to get position in there on Brown right now.
Schloutthauer gets it in. Troy Jackson with the rebound. He got position, couldn't get the shot to drop because he was bothered as he got it away.
Jackson's come up with some key rebounds already, which is always a plus for a point guard.
Runneberg's come up with a couple of steals. This time loses it in turn for Brown off the fingertip underneath of Mike Deering, and that'll give the ball back to Mounds View. 5:02 to go first quarter. It is 6-4 for St. Paul Central. This is the first of 4 AA games today. We will follow this one with Faribault going against the Jefferson Jaguars. Duluth Central and company play tonight. Duluth Central the only unbeaten team.
Coach Jim Hastings of Duluth Central, this is his final year of coaching. He'll be retiring April 1st, excuse me.
McTavish misses, and following, and missing with Kelsenberg, and finally St. Paul Central controls with Troy Jackson. Troy Jackson picked up by Chad Runneberg. Dante Dean, he has 4, and St. Paul Central's lead is now 4, 8-4. With 4:24 to go here first quarter. Any surprise so far?
I guess how controlled the game is and how deliberate Central has been on offense. They've been extremely patient, and I'm expecting them to try to get into more of a running game. Mounds View probably favors a slower game. Central's just extremely quick and explosive.
Schloutthauer picking up the foul. Their offense is rather obvious. Get the ball inside to Schloutthauer.
Schloutthauer has definitely been a key all year, but he does have some good backup in McTavish and Holter especially.
2 very good-looking teams based on what we've seen thus far in the first quarter. This time St. Paul Central got it in. Jackson missed the shot, gets the ball back again, and finally Kelsenberg goes up in the air to clear the rebound. Matt Kelsenberg from his guard position rebounding. Off now to Runneberg. There's Schloutthauer.
Schloutthauer at 6'6" is very comfortable to play outside. He's a very good perimeter shooter, as is Steve Holter. Holter's grown 3.5 inches in the last 2 years.
He didn't start for the sophomore team. A little added maturity, a little physical maturity, plus the fact 3.5 inches added on top of that.
He's coming along, and I think he'll progress to it with age.
Holter there taking the pass from Schloutthauer. And it's a 2-point lead for St. Paul Central. Just underway in the 74th annual Minnesota State Boys High School Basketball Tournament. Missed by Deering. Here's Holter now. Off for McTavish. Puts it over Dean. It's short. Schloutthauer with the rebound, so Schloutthauer has 4. And we're tied at 8 with 2:45 to go here first quarter. We're showing you the A action as well from the St. Paul Civic Center. Barry Williams and Jim Gilliland standing by. That's our first traveling turnover of the ballgame. I think we've only had 2 total. St. Paul Central once threw the ball away. It's been a very well-played game.
It really has.
Getting some substitutions, Andy Schultz coming in, and so is Tim Masso. As the 2 guards, Runneberg and Kelsenberg, go out for Mounds View. Here's McTavish, bothered by Dean. Schloutthauer, 6 points for Schloutthauer. He scores inside, he scores outside. And picks up the foul as well. I'm sorry.
Here we see Schloutthauer doing what he does so well. At 6'6", hitting the outside shot with no problem. That's going to really be an asset to him in college. He's being recruited currently by a lot of Division II schools and a few Division I schools. But to find a player of that height that can shoot from outside is very good. He's very versatile.
Foul was not on Schloutthauer. It was on McTavish, his first second team foul. Mike Brown. Brown putting it over Schloutthauer. Battle for the rebound and coming out with it, Tim Masso. Now Masso. Knocked away by Brown. Troy Jackson now for St. Paul Central. 1 minute 57 seconds to go in the quarter.
Masso has started in place of Runneberg when Runneberg has been injured this year with tendonitis. So he's definitely seen some playing time. And Andy Schultz has come in very well off the bench also for Mounds View.
4 points now for New. We're tied at 10. Been a very controlled game so far. Both clubs look like a couple of heavyweight boxers feeling out each other in the early rounds. Nice back for the steal is Andy Schultz. They could have probably called Deering for reaching in, but they let it go. No harm, no foul. Schloutthauer takes it to the hoop and scores. Schloutthauer has 8.
Really a tough player. You can tell his teammates go to him, look for him if he's open, and he's also a very good passer, but he wants the ball and he's ready to put it in.
Minute 10 to go, first quarter. Troy Jackson bothered by Masso. There's a shuffle step inside. They turn it over. Turnovers so far 5 for St. Paul Central, 2 for Mounds View.
Well, it happens a lot, I guess, when players start using head fakes and trying to do a shot fake, that they'll slide that or pick up that back foot before they put the ball on the floor. Called for the travel there.
Holter. Schloutthauer. Holder works it in. Schloutthauer muscles his way. Shot won't go. Ripping down the rebound is Dante Dean. And Troy Jackson will bring the ball up the floor for St. Paul with 35 seconds now to go here in the opening quarter.
Central's going to need to do that as Dante Dean came over to help out.
Schloutthauer tried to break it up, but they got the ball inside for Dean. Dean has 6 points. He has led St. Paul Central. 22 seconds now to play in the period. A good first quarter. This is the 74th annual Boys High School Tournament. Knocked away from Andy Schultz. Ahead now for Dean. Dean against Schloutthauer. Dean bangs it home. Dante Dean with 8 points. You get a little bit of that St. Paul Central explosiveness.
Dante Dean having a very good first quarter on this breakaway.
There's 4 seconds left. Schultz at the buzzer. It won't go, and that is the end of the first quarter of play with the score St. Paul Central 14 and Mounds View 12. This is the 1986 Boys High School Tournament.
Built with power from the mightiest of rivers. From Northland ore, a backbone of steel. Tough strength from 1,000 arms. Quality watched by 1,000 eyes. It all comes together in St. Paul. Is a Northland-built Ford pickup truck a better built Ford pickup truck?
We think so.
See them at your Northland Ford dealer today.
It's Dairy Queen, an American original with another all-time hit. The one and only Dairy Queen Blizzard. Specially blended with your choice of a Butterfinger, a Heat Bar, or cookies and more. So rich, so thick, you gotta spoon it up. Cruise on down and spoon up a Blizzard. Only at Dairy Queen. An American original.
We treat you right.
We're back at the Metrodome as we take a look at St. Paul Central and Mounds View. We'll take a look at Central and how they got to the state tournament. They lost the final game of the season to Minneapolis North by just 2 points, their only loss of the season. And on their road to the state, they overcame Harding, Highland Park, and Woodbury to get to the state tournament. Woodbury had a very good season also.
The Mustangs of Mounds View, they lost just 3 games, and the interesting part about Mounds View is they lost them in a row. Their 3rd, 4th, and 5th games of the year. Still wound up making their 5th appearance here at state.
18 wins in a row now for Mounds View.
We had a little trouble there, looks like, with Anoka. They survived by 2 in a low-scoring contest. But here they are. Right now they trail St. Paul Central by 2, 14-12, as we get underway in the second quarter. Chad Runneberg. Steve Holter. And they're going to call a travel on Andy Schultz. come the Minutemen of St. Paul Central, making their 5th appearance here at State in the last 7 seasons. Troy Jackson, watched there by Gary Runneberg. Good crowd on hand and a good setup for basketball here at the Dome. Before we're done, though, I'm going to go up in the seats, the high seats, and take a look and see what I think of this team. As they work it inside for Dean, he goes in double figures with 10 points. But as you sit here at courtside, this place is gorgeous.
Really is.
There's lots of seats. We're right about at shortstop, where our broadcast position is. That was blocked by Dean on the attempt by McKenzie, but Moundsview retains possession.
Dean is really pushing McTavish. You can see them battling for position as they post up down low. Not really pushing, but holding their ground, and that in itself expends a lot of energy.
Holter hits a shot. What's the difference between the boys' game and the girls' game?
Well, I think the boys are definitely more physical, as we see these football players that have just so much strength. Run faster, jump higher. I think it's definitely a quicker ball game.
But the interesting part to me is, as you see the shot go up and miss there by St. Paul Central's New, is you talk about physical as the traveling call, yet the girls were extremely physical. There was all kinds of collisions.
Take a look at it. Coming down on McTavish and losing his footing. Call for the travel.
Troy Jackson.
Been waiting for Jackson to hit those shots. He's a very good outside shooter.
That was bothered by Schloutthauer as he broke that one up. Here comes Runneberg now for the Mustangs. 2-point lead for St. Paul Central. Here's Holter.
Off the mark that time, but he's hit a couple, and he's confident to take that shot.
Troy Jackson will be going to the University of South Dakota on a football scholarship. Was all Metro in basketball for St. Paul Central, number 50. He controls the ball. He's the point guard.
Central really impresses me with their team balance. They have 4 players in double figures, and Mike Brown has 9 points a game, so he's nearly in double figures. All 5 of their players have the potential to score 20, 25 points.
Well, coached by Dan Brink. The type of club I think you want really is a balanced squad. You like a prolific scorer there, but you like the rest of the people to be able to do their jobs too.
That's true. It's definitely a key for Central to try to shut down Schloutthauer, because he's so much a part of of Moundsview's offense.
Tried to get it into Schloutthauer that time. That's how the turnovers have occurred for Moundsview, is trying to force a pass into Schloutthauer when it's not there. Jackson took the shot and missed, and I believe that was Brown following. Now they're going to give it to Deering. That'll be Deering's first. Here's Schloutthauer.
All net.
Schloutthauer has 10 points. He joins Dean in double figures.
Schloutthauer's high game was 43 this year, and it happened to be a very close game that he scored those points. It wasn't like it was a big runaway where they just kept feeding him the ball.
Dropping it down is Gary New, 6 points for the center for St. Paul Central.
Gary New is going to North Dakota State University next year.
Eltzenberg to Schloutthauer. Had to work it in from McKenzie. That one missed. And finally, Troy Jackson controls for St. Paul Central. 4 minutes and 19 seconds to go here until halftime. Paul Central this quarter so far has hit 3 of 9 from the field.
They're going to call Deering for pushing off on his baseline move. We'll see if we can catch him throwing an elbow there.
First on Deering, 15 foul on St. Paul Central. Chad Runneberg.
Moundsview needs to get number 53, McTavish, involved in their offense.
Holter misses. McTavish goes after the rebound, and McTavish is going to pick up the foul. Foul on McTavish will be his second.
McTavish is averaging 10 points a game and quite a few rebounds as well. There he goes aggressively to the offensive boards and comes over the back.
Third team foul on Moundsview. Next foul on St. Paul Central will put Moundsview into the bonus. Troy Jackson now, 3:56 remaining here, first half. St. Paul Central and Mounds View as we get the 74th annual Minnesota State Boys High School Basketball Tournament underway. In a very controlled tempo.
It has. Mounds View, in controlling the tempo, has gone to a 2-3 zone now.
St. Paul Central is going to draw him out of it, or at least loosen it up a bit. Over the St. Paul Central fans behind us chanting boring. Mounds View is not interested in being boring. They're interested in winning the ball game. Here's Troy Jackson.
We didn't see any teams in the girls' tournament controlling the tempo like this. The boys have had a tendency to do it more often.
It's a new experience for me this year, too, because working with the Gophers, of course, you have the 45-second clock in college basketball, which is not a factor here. Drilling that one in is Derek Rummels, who has come into the St. Paul lineup off the bench.
Nice pass by Jackson, who went in and made the defense commit to him before he made the pass. Nice shot by Rummels.
So it is a 6-point lead now for St. Paul Central. We work our way towards halftime. McTavish back out for Holter. Rebound ripped down inside by Deering, and Deering will draw the foul. No, Deering will pick up the foul, apparently. We'll take a break. This is the 1986 Minnesota High School Basketball Tournament.
In April 1986, the Minnesota institution will become part of a celebrated American tradition. TCF is going public. TCF depositors will have the first opportunity to buy stocks. Full details will be sent by mail. You have made TCF Minnesota's largest consumer banking institution. It's only right that you should own a part of it. TCF, where Minnesota banks.
Northern Hydraulics adds a second customer showroom as they expand north in Fridley. Both the new Northern Hydraulics at River Road and 694 and the Burnsville store are celebrating with grand opening specials. Super buys on fold-up trailers, $169.95, and every trailer part is specially priced. Great buys on air compressors from the powerful 5-horsepower model to half-horsepower motors. The best selection of gas engines for every use, and the full line of pickup accessories. Shop Northern and Southern Northern Hydraulics during the grand opening of their Fridley store.
Bob Kurtz and Janet Carpenter back here at the Dome, where we are 2 minutes and 40 seconds away from halftime. St. Paul Central with the lead. Zig calls over talking to the officials, trying to get everything straightened out here. It is a 22-16 lead for St. Paul Central. Good crowd on hand here at the Dome. There was no foul on the last play, by the way. Before we left, there was a travel call. And so Mounds View retains possession. We head towards halftime. Mounds View is already down by 6, so this next 2:40, we'll keep our eye on where they wind up at halftime, Jack.
And Central has shown good patience and good control of the ball on these last few possessions and extending their lead to 6 now.
Schloutthauer having difficulty as they double-teamed it. So Schloutthauer double-teamed and lost the ball. As Troy Jackson now controls for St. Paul Central. Jackson. And it's an 8-point lead now for St. Paul Central. Jackson with 4 points. Chad Runneberg. Holter.